Hi, my name's John. A year ago, I never even heard of Fruits Basket. That is until my fiance introduced the anime to me.
And I'm Allie. I've been reading the manga since I was in 3rd grade.
We loved watching season 1 together so much, and we'd have all these crazy long discussions about what happened in each episode.
And for season 2, we thought it would be really fun to share our conversations with you.
So join us today as we talk about all our favorite moments from season 2 and theorize about season 3. So if you're a returning listener, then welcome back. If you're a new listener, then we're happy to have you on this week's episode of our Fruits Basket podcast. So if you like this kind of content, you want to see more of it coming from this channel, then make sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you never miss another upload. And share it with all of your friends wherever you share things, whether that's on Twitter, Discord, Reddit, or anywhere else. But with all that out of the way, where are we starting?
All right, well, let's just start with the biggest and most obvious question. Did you like this season?
I hated it.
Don't give me that.
Yeah, I know. No, I loved it. It was so good. It was really, really good.
Was it better than season 1?
Okay, so that's a hard question. And maybe this is controversial. I feel like they were equal but different. Like, I like them for completely different reasons.
I think that that's really good, because that means that the author is really good at storytelling. That you don't go, the beginning was so much better, I liked learning about the characters, and you just view them as equals.
Yeah.
That's good. Yay!
Season 1, like, I loved that, like, slice of life, like, get to know a different character every week. Like, slowly get drip-fed aspects of the story. Nothing too crazy. But it always filled me with the warm fuzzies. Aww. You know?
Yeah.
And so, like, I loved that aspect of season 1. And I could watch any of those episodes, like, any day of the week. But, like, season 2, it had less of that, like, warm fuzziness. And it had just a lot more depth. And I don't want to say nuance to it, because I think that season 1 had a lot of understated meaning and symbolism and foreshadowing that I think when we go back and watch it in future episodes of the podcast, I'll notice that a lot more now. But this season really dove a lot more into the psychology of a lot of the different characters. It really gave us a lot more context into why everything is the way it is, and I really enjoyed that.
And then favorite episodes. So, which ones were your favorite? Choose, like, top 3.
That's a really hard question, but I would have to say that my favorite episode would have to be Here You Are. So, episode 24.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like, I loved that episode so much. From Yuki finally sticking it to Akito, and just standing up for himself in that context, which has been building all season. I think it was such a good payoff. And obviously, the Yuki Machi ship is, like, my jive. And so, like, seeing that actually, like, kind of, like, it hasn't materialized in any meaningful capacity yet, but I really enjoyed their interactions and just getting to see Yuki and the rest of the student council kind of go out, even if it was for a couple seconds. I don't know. I loved episode 24.
Okay, yay. Next one.
Next one would probably be episode 13. So, like, the first episode that they're back from the beach arc, where we're actually introduced to the student council. There's going to be a theme here.
I'm picking it up.
Because I loved Yuki's conversations with Kakuru. Like, I love Kakuru as a character. He just, like, fills my heart with joy. And so seeing that beginning to develop in the conversation about, like, ooh, which color are you gonna be? And all of that. And then even getting into kind of that argument between Yuki and Kakuru really stands out to me.
Okay. Last one.
So my third one's probably You Will, I'm Sure of It, which is episode 17, and that's the school trip. Because A, I love the fall aesthetic. B, it's hanging on that Yuki Kakuru, like, school council dynamic. But this also gave us some really awesome moments with Kyo and Toru. And this is probably my favorite slice of life episode in the series so far.
Okay. And then For my favorites, I'd say number 3 in my list of top 3 would probably be Eat Somen with Your Friends. I feel weird delving into why I like these so much. They're mostly just from nostalgia, but I do really like that episode. I loved Shigure at the end, and it's just such a good episode. Number 2 would be All Mine. Kagura in this episode is just so interesting to me. I love that she finally comes clean about her feelings, and I just think that the delivery of all of it was very emotional, and it still makes me cry every single time I read those chapters. So this episode got me good, and I was really excited to see it. But my number 1 is 100% Ask Him For Me. Momiji and Momo, they just destroy me every time. The idea of Momo watching Momiji and wanting him to be her brother, but he is her brother, and she just doesn't know because they aren't allowed to be siblings because of the curse, and it's just a whole mess. And just that idea of them both wanting to be siblings, even though they are siblings, it just destroys me every time. So I don't know. That's the most emotional episode for me, and I like to choose really emotional episodes as my favorites. That's what I cling on to. You like slice of life. I like crying.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's my favorites.
I should give an honorable mention to the Hattori episode. I love that episode. Definitely number 4 favorite in the season. I love that episode. More Hattori content, please, in season 3.
Speaking of that, there are characters that you have grown to love more. So I'm not saying that you didn't like Hattori in season 1, but you definitely grew to like him a lot more over season 2. So can you think of some other characters that you grew to love, or you even just changed your opinion on throughout the course of season 2?
So if you listen to this podcast, then you'll know that at the beginning of season 2, I could not care less about Rin. Like, I did not care. Like, I didn't have any interest in learning more about her story. I was just like, whatever. Like, you know, she's just another. I don't know. For some reason, I really was not interested in her. As we actually learned about her, she became one of the most interesting characters in this show. And so she's a character that I really grew to like over the course of this season. Another character who, I don't know, just didn't feel like someone that I wanted to learn more about last season, but now I really enjoy and wish they were in the show more, is Kagura.
Okay. I agree.
Like, that episode that you talked about being one of your favorites, that gave her such a dynamic, like, human personality, as opposed to just, like, the one who screams and punches Kyo.
Yeah, they really push her as one of those 90s stereotypical pain is love kind of characters.
Yeah.
And she's so much more than that. And I love it. Okay. Anybody else? We got Rin, we got Kagura, kind of Hattori to a certain extent. Yeah.
I'd say I've grown to like Momiji a lot more.
Yay!
So season 1, I liked Momiji. Like, don't get me wrong.
I had to convince you to like Momiji at first.
Yes, you did. You did. But by the end of season 1, I liked Momiji. And Hiro. Momiji and Hiro.
There we go.
I've really grown to like Momiji and Hiro. Hiro's the rock star of this season. He's grown a lot, and he's actively trying to grow.
Yeah.
Like his interaction with Haru towards the end of the season, like when he realized, like, he's like, oh god, I shouldn't have said that. Why did I say that? Beginning of season 2 Hiro, that wouldn't have even crossed his mind. He just would have been like the little snot, which, like, he's a young middle school boy. Of course he's gonna be, you know? Like, it is what it is. So seeing that development in him while he's still so young was so good. So good. And just Momiji's maturity really shined through in this season. So, yeah. Kagura, Rin, Hiro, and Momiji would be the rock stars who I wouldn't have expected to be rock stars this season.
Yeah. One I do have to call out for you briefly is Kyo. And it's not that you didn't like Kyo, it's that you liked Yuki a lot more. To the point where you didn't want to like Kyo when we first started watching. You were casual. It was before the podcast. It was before you, really were into the material. You know, you were just casually watching with me every week. And you were a Yuki stan. You were a Yuki fanboy. And you liked Kyo, but you knew that Kyo was, you know, probably going to end up with Toru, or at least there'd be some type of romantic connection there. And so because of that, I think you got rebellious and just liked Yuki a lot. And you just stuck with it, which I like that you like Yuki a lot, but you have grown to have more of a soft spot for Kyo. That's something I've noticed.
You're 1000% right. I don't know. Season 1, I'll be honest, I was lukewarm on Kyo. Like, one way, like, I wasn't here nor there with him. Like, he was very loud for me. Although now I like kakuru, so like I don't know where where the line is drawn there. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I just like kind of saw where the dotted lines were pointing with Kyo, and that made me like lose interest quick. Season 1, I guess.
Okay, so after we went through the favorites, different highlights and things like that, let's get into theories for season 3. So let me just put out a little disclaimer first. John is anime only. He is sharing anime only opinions. And if we want him to continue to have anime only opinions, he has to stay spoiler free. So please don't leave spoilers in the comments. If you're going to ask him a question, don't have it be set up in a way where you're expecting him to answer in a certain way. Don't be like, how do you think the curse will break? Will it be like this? Or will it not break because of this? Like, don't set it up that way. Don't say, oh, your theory was so close, because then he knows that it was close, and now that's a spoiler. So, no spoilers.
Oh my goodness, yes.
No spoilers, please.
That's the one that gets me.
Yeah. But we want you to stay pure and spoiler-free. And so we're going to dive into theories. A lot of these were given to us through our Discord community, because we started a Discord. So if you...
Which you should join, because everyone's so wonderful. And honestly, it's so much fun. So, yes, join.
Join the Discord. We have a special Fruits Basket spoiler section where you can talk about the video, and everybody can talk about John's theories and how good or bad they are. It'll be great.
Yes.
But, okay, theory time. So, first of all, do you think that Yuki and Kyo will end up becoming civil with one another, or even become friends?
Yeah, I think so. Because we're even kind of seeing them move in that direction at this point.
Okay.
Like, Kyo is still very hostile towards Yuki, and Yuki is just very short with Kyo, but Yuki's not aggressive anymore. He's almost reaching out that olive branch in a weird kind of way, and I think Yuki knows that Kyo's one of the best things for Toru right now, and like we've said so many times, I think he stands their relationship.
He's a shipper.
Yeah. And so I think that they will have to work through a lot of stuff. Like the whole hat situation, I think, is still very much going to be at a crux of that, them making peace with each other and resolving that. But I do think it'll happen. Now, I'm not gonna say that they're going to become best friends and they're gonna hang out all the time, but I do think that they'll be civil. I think that they will appreciate one another, and I think they'll appreciate, like, maybe they didn't have the full context of each other's upbringings, and if they had, they would understand where each other was coming from a little bit better.
All right, so speaking of shipping and relationships, which relationships do you think will be endgame?
Oh my god. Okay, so the obvious one, Kyoru.
Mm-hmm.
I think Hatori and Mayu, 100% endgame. 100%.
Yeah, they kind of spoiled that for us in the episode, though.
Yeah, like they tell us that. So Hatori and Mayu, definitely 100% endgame, which I love, because they both deserve all the happiness in the world. I think that Rin and Haru, I think they're gonna end up together. Honestly, a lot of the established relationships I see happening, you know?
You know which one you haven't said yet?
Oh, well, yes, I was getting there. That's not established yet.
Oh.
Like, even though for my soul it's established, like, yes, Yuki and Machi, 100% endgame.
I thought that was going to be your first one. I was waiting with bated breath.
No, you gotta build up the dramatic tension. Because now everyone was like, when's he gonna say it?
Okay. I thought you just
You gotta build up the dramatic tension. So, before I talk about that, I think Kisa and Hiro will be endgame. But you know who I think will be endgame? We haven't talked about this. This will catch you off guard. Okay?
I'm hoping you say what I'm hoping you say.
I think Shigure and Akito will be endgame.
That's the one I was gonna ask you about. Okay.
I do. From that finale, I think that Shigure is in love with Akito, and I think that if they're not endgame, it will be much to Shigure's chagrin.
Okay. Alrighty.
Yeah. Hot takes.
Speaking of dating, who's Kakuru dating? Who's his endgame?
He does have a girlfriend, I suppose. He breaks up with current girlfriend and falls in love with Kimi.
Wow, imagine that.
No, I don't know. Do we know his girlfriend? Am I just forgetting this?
No, do we know his girl? No, they haven't specifically pointed at a girl and said, this is Kakeru's girlfriend.
Yeah.
That hasn't happened.
Okay.
So we may not even know her, but we may know her, but we may not.
I have no idea. Literally, okay. I don't even have a guess for you right now.
That is okay. What's Kakeru's relationship with Toru? Because we know that he knows about Toru and something happened. He won't tell Yuki.
Okay.
So what do you think happened?
Okay. I have a good one for this one. It could be completely wrong, and it probably is, but I have a good one. So
I'd love to hear it.
Because this has been bothering me ever since we kind of found out that he knew Toru in some way. You know, Kakeru's kind of a crass dude, very blunt, kind of makes fun of people for a laugh, right? I imagine he's always been like that to some extent. So what if Kakuru is the one who called Toru a rice ball back when they were little?
Huh. Okay.
And he is the reason that she cried, and we know that severely impacted her, you know?
Okay. I like your theory.
Mm-hmm.
That's not...
Yeah. And so that would make a logical connection there and would make sense regarding, just in general, what we know about Kakuru. And, it would make sense that Toru wouldn't even remember that it was Kakuru because they were so little, you know?
Yeah. Okay. Alrighty. Another one. Which characters do you think will focus on character development-wise in Season 3?
Toru.
Toru?
I think Toru's gonna be a bit... Because we don't really know anything about her. We do. But we really don't. We haven't... Season
1 was Kyo's, and then Season 2 was Yuki's, so I could see that.
We haven't gotten a peek into her internal world to any meaningful capacity yet. She's just been this, very cheerful, upbeat. We've gotten very slim shades of it throughout Season 2, but, nothing crazy. Just her upbringing in general. We don't know anything about her dad. Literally nothing except for his name. They won't even show us his face, which I always think is a funny trope because it's just gonna be a generic anime face, but, you know? It's not gonna be oh my god! Other than the fact that we know what he looks like now. Because it's, you know?
Oh my god.
I always think that's such a funny trope. Unless he has, a Zuko scar.
Oh god. Okay, I was gonna save these questions for later, but let's just do them now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So, you've been speculating that Toru's dad was important.
Oh my god. He is. He has to be. Okay, story time.
Oh, okay.
Okay. This is going to be a roundabout theory, and we're going to hit on a bunch of different stuff here, but I promise it has a point, okay?
Okay.
So stick with me on this journey. So, from, like, the context clues given by the show, right? Okay. I think that his death, just in general, when Toru was really little, like, had a huge impact on Kyoko, right? Because she was in gang life, and correct me if I'm wrong, maybe I'm just inferring this, but she pulled herself out of gang life to, like, settle down with him. And so, like, it's almost like he pulled her out of, like, that dark world and gave her, like, a happy home and a happy family. And then when he died, like, she lost, like, kind of her cornerstone. So now she's out of, like, the gang life. And she's just raising, like, Toru, her daughter, who I'm sure she loves immensely. But, like, imagine just your world crumbling around, and she probably didn't have anything to kind of cling on to at that point, you know?
Okay.
So I think that, so focusing on Kyoko here for a second, I think that this caused her to, like, have suicidal ideations because, so when we were watching, I forget what episode it specifically was, but when Toru was talking to her grandpa, who was super sick, and he said something along the lines of, I just want it to, like, end or go away or something. He said something that could have been interpreted as not wanting to live anymore, right?
Yeah, he said, I want to go see them, even if it's in heaven or whatever. I just want to be with Kyoko and my son.
Yeah. That scene, like, kind of stood out to me and, like, still stands out to me because Toru, right after he said that, I'm pretty sure, or right before or during or something, she flashed back to her mother, like, leaving the house and her being, like, really sad. And so I feel like Toru knew that her mom was not wanting to live anymore, and that's why she was so scared and so adamant about saying bye to her mom every single day, because, like, she wasn't sure if her mom would come back. And that's also why Toru, we talked about this a little bit in the last episode, that's why Toru kind of, like, almost took care of her mom, like, did a lot of the cooking, the cleaning, like, this, that, the other thing. And so I think that was a big fear of Toru's, was that Kyoko would just, like, leave and never come back.
You're playing 4D chess here. Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because why else would she flash back to her mom when her grandpa said that? I might be reading into it, but I feel like it makes a lot of sense. Tying this back to her dad a little bit. So I think that him just being a hugely influential person in that capacity, like, very much being the rock of Kyoko, I think that, I have something on the tip of my tongue, but it's so hard to materialize, you know? I don't think he has something to do with the Somas. I don't think there's anything like he is secretly Akito's father as well. You know, something like that.
Yeah.
I feel like he did have some semblance of a relationship with the Somas, or maybe even, like, Kazuma or something, and that's how Kyoko, like, got to know Lil Kyo, because she met Lil Kyo, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe, like, him and Kazuma were, like, friends or something, or colleagues.
I'll take it.
Sorry, that was a journey.
It was a journey. Let's see, next question for you. What are, in your opinion, the themes of Fruits Basket?
There are a lot.
Just fire them off.
I would say that, like, the core themes would have to be, like, growth. Just inherently, we see all of these characters growing through their adolescent years. And even some, like, Autry growing into adulthood and really taking up that mantle. So growth, definitely. Relationships and found family. Because I feel like a lot of shows like very much convey family as, okay, these are your blood relatives, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But Fruits Basket is very much talking about your family, whether they say this explicitly or not. Your family isn't necessarily who is your blood, but it is who you actually connect with on that deeper level. Like, Toru is more of a maternal figure for Yuki than his actual mother, and his family is the student council. The Somas are Toru's now that her biological family is either gone or sucks, you know? And so I think that found family piece and developing those relationships with other people and distancing yourself from others is a huge, huge part of the show.
Okay. Alrighty.
And then, like, loss and grief and stuff like that, too.
All the other sad ones.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, that's in a lot of shows.
Yeah. Okay. Can the curse be broken? Yes or no?
Oh, you know, now that we have more information on it, that's so much harder of a question.
I'll take it. I'll take that as my answer. The next part of this was, how do you think it will break? Like, will there be key players involved? Will the curse break all at once? Are different Zodiac members going to slowly have their curse broken? Because, like, Kureno's curse is broken, but
yeah, I don't think it will break all at once. I do think there's a method to the madness. I think that there's something that we're missing. Like, I know that it's slowly been weakening, but I think that something happened to Kureno. Like, something happened that made his break. And I feel like it's experiencing, like, genuine love could expedite the process. I've been going back to that theme a lot. I guess that's a theme of the show. But I think that could, like, speed up the process. And I don't mean necessarily it has to be romantic love. I think that it very well could just be, like, true familial connections. Well, I guess outside or inside the Zodiac. Because I keep going back to Shigure's dream. You know, when they all woke up and, like, had that realization or something. It was like him, Hattori, Ayame, Ritsu. They all woke up at the same time, right?
Yeah, I think that was in the Valentine's Day episode in season 1.
Yeah. And, like, maybe it's just the Valentine's Day coloring my perception of that. But I think that what they wanted is, like, true love.
Alrighty, next one. Will Kyo end up imprisoned in the cat room? And will the Zodiac members pretty much be imprisoned with Akito? Whether or not the curse breaks?
No, there's no way. Kyo might be in prison for, like, a minute, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I think that will happen. Like, he'll be on his way to imprisonment or something. Or he'll be there for a little bit and Toru will visit him all the time. I don't think it'll be for a meaningful capacity, though. Like, it's not like he will be there forever. And there's no way that they end up imprisoned with Akito.
Who else do you think knows about Akito being a woman?
I would say Akito's blood family. So, assuming Ren is Akito's blood family, Ren. Shigure and Kureno and Toru. I think that's it, honestly. I don't even know if her aides realize that she's a woman.
And then also on that same topic, do you have any theories about why Akito presents as male and what would that do to her psychologically?
So I think that the reason Akito presents as male, which I'm still shook about,
yeah.
I think it's very much societal pressure of being the family head. I would imagine that having a family head who is not male is just in terms of the Soma family structure, I don't think that that's something they're super keen on. Even for potentially outsiders looking in. But because Akito is the one with the spirit of God in her, she has to be the family head. I think it's almost thrust upon her. I don't think it's an active choice, or I don't think it was an active choice initially. I think that this was Ren, again, I'm assuming that's her mother, and maybe her father, whoever that is, kind of put this on to Akito. In terms of psychology, if this is not her choice, this is something she is forced day in and day out to do. I think it could create some body dysmorphia. You know, if you're told that you have to be a man, you should be a man, why are you a woman? And being a woman is bad. Like, that must be really difficult. Like, she genuinely looked sad when she was looking at herself in the mirror, you know? At the end of this last episode.
Yeah, and Akito does seem to hate women, as we saw in her altercation with Reen.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think that could create some, almost like, that hatred of women probably stems from the fact that she can't be her true self. You know? She has to constantly hide who she is. And the fact that not everyone has to do that probably brings up some tough stuff. And so I imagine Akito has a lot of self-loathing, and I think that self-loathing is what has led to a lot of her intense aggression throughout the series. Because if you are one thing and you're constantly told you need to be something else, that could do some damage, especially if it's since she was a child, which it probably has been since she was a child.
Okay. Last question for you. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
How does it end?
The curse breaks. Toru and Kyo fall in love, and everyone lives happily ever after. No, that doesn't sound right.
Do you know what anime you've been watching?
I do think that Kyo and Toru will fall in love. I do think that there will be some tragedy. Oh, you know what would be kind of cool? Like, this just popped into my head. If the tragedy of, like, the show is, like, a Romeo and Juliet kind of thing, and, like, maybe, like, Akito, who is very sickly, and we know that she's very sickly, like, dies, and, like, Shigure does, too. Like, out of loyalty, because, like, dog.
Oh my god.
You know?
Woof. That's my
woof.
That's my response to that theory.
That's so out there. Like, I know that's not gonna happen, but that's what I'm gonna say because I have no idea.
I like that you have no idea. Please continue.
Like, I really don't know what's coming other than probably a whole lot of Toru.
I hope so. That'd be cool. I need more Toru in my life, especially during this hiatus.
Yeah. But, yo, as long as there's still a lot of Yuki, I'll be stoked.
Of course you will.
I love Yuki. Shut up.
You Yuki fanboy. Okay. But anyways, that was all the theory questions that people from Discord and just like me had. So you can wrap us up.
All right. That'll do it for today's podcast, guys. And just so you know, we are going to be looking at all of season 1 and reacting to stuff we missed, stuff that really stands out to us, and symbolism from that first season up until season 3 starts. So if that's something you're interested, keep an eye out. But if you have any questions for me, any questions for Ali, leave those in the comment section down below or join our Discord, and we would be happy to answer those as much as we are able to. So if you enjoyed this podcast, make sure to share it wherever you like sharing things. And as always, we hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, a fantastic rest of your week, and why not even a fantastic rest of your month. And we will see you in the next video. Later.